Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and I'm here to talk about One Piece chapter 995. It's been a while since I've actually been able to do a One Piece standalone video or a standalone chapter talk. But recently, talking on live stream, I know that there's at least two people there who really like One Piece, so I'm doing this video partly for them, but also because I have a little bit of time to be able to do it. But yeah, for One Piece chapter 995, it'll be my impressions overall. I do think the chapter was pretty interesting in some regards, and I'll talk about some of the things that I'm kind of sad about, because I am kind of sad about some things. But let's just get into it. I hope everyone's having a great day. So when it comes to One Piece chapter 995, right, we're continuing this whole thing with getting to Kaido. It's always the run to Kaido. We didn't get to see anything of what the samurai are doing. We only got to see more. Well, I think there was like a lot of setup happening here, like a lot of really interesting things happening in the background. But one thing I will start off by saying is that when it comes to Nami and Usopp, I think Nami's moment there, where she continues to acknowledge Luffy as the one true Pirate King, I think that was a really powerful moment, and I definitely do enjoy seeing it. But one thing I definitely felt sad about was knowing that Nami had gotten headbutt before this chapter and not getting to see it. That's just the part that makes me sad. I miss the days of Alabasta. I miss the days of Enies Lobby where we could see these people have good featured fights. I just not a fan of the whole off-screen habit. You know, back when Usopp got beat up by, what was it, Treble or whatever his name was? He got beat up by him. We only got to see the end of it in manga, and it was just like, this is unfortunate. I don't care if Usopp is losing. I want to see how he loses. I want to see how bad it goes. I want to see what he does to try and survive. I miss those days of One Piece where we got fights for the weaker members of the crew more often. And when I look here and I see the whole thing with Ulti and Nami on the floor, it's like I wish I could have seen Nami get headbutt, because that would have been pretty interesting to see her tank that hit. I think Oda did a great job at showing Usopp tanking the hit. Just again, it's one of those unfortunate things. At the end of the day, One Piece is at an accelerated pace. Oda's making One Piece go by faster than it really should be. Well, it's not the same pacing that we used to have in the old days. But that's also because, well, One Piece has gone on for so long that we do need to start getting to the end here. I understand it, but it's just unfortunate that one of the things that got sacrificed along the way were the detailed battles for some of the members. It's just an unfortunate thing. Anyway, that's the big thing that I'm disappointed about in the chapter. But otherwise, the chapter, I found it to be quite enjoyable. When I look at the first page, I'm going to do a very quick walkthrough here. The first page was interesting to me in that, one, it's cool to see the depiction of Marco versus Big Mom, and I liked Marco specifically pointing out that Big Mom is super dangerous. So like when you have this guy talking about, yo, you are a bigger issue than these guys are giving you credit for, it's like that is interesting. I want to know, like, what are the extents to Big Mom's powers, like what are like the worst, most difficult things that she could do, right? I would love to know that. And so as you go into the rest of their fight, I enjoy it because we get to see more power interactions. We see that Prometheus is getting hurt by Marco's flames and all that. It was really cool. When you have Pero there about to shoot an arrow at him, I do legitimately wonder if that arrow would actually hurt Marco, though. Like, maybe if it was hockey clad, and it does seem like it is hockey clad in one of those images, but I wonder if his regeneration can just get around it, right? Anyway, the next portion of the chapter went into the Sulong forms arriving, and that was all cool. It's cool to see the two there. At least they'll be taking on someone pretty interesting. So hopefully we'll get to see that battle depicted. I'm looking at the next page that I found really interesting, was the page where Big Mom runs away and we hear roaring in the background. I assume the roaring is the stuff that's going on with the virus on the inside, but that might be one of the numbers or something. I don't know. But when it goes back to Big Mom here, one thing I enjoyed in this first panel, and I'll put up on the screen, was seeing Big Mom riding on a knocked out Zeus and a knocked out Prometheus. That was a cool little detail there. And I also enjoyed seeing Big Mom say that she doesn't have souls to use against Marco right now. So pretty cool. Pretty cool to know that Big Mom would rather not fight Marco if she could help it, or at least not fight him without being prepared. I like that. I like that little detail. It just makes Marco feel more relevant, right? I'm very interested. I do want to see if Marco could get rid of her. It was really interesting when you think about it, the fact that she had to hold Marco up as well to put him in the way of Perospero. What does that mean, that she could only manage to hold Marco in place and couldn't do anything else? Like, that's actually really interesting to think about, that she couldn't do anything but hold him for her son to hit him. Very interesting. Anyway, after that, we go back into the inside of the chapter with this chase with Apu. I don't have anything of note to say for this whole segment, except it was cool to see Apu clashing with Drake and Zoro. You know, it's cool to see this skirmish occurring. I do think it's a little bit unreasonable for Apu to be surviving these two. But it's always hard. Like, technically, he should be able to survive 1 or 2 hits at the same time from 2 captain level people. But at the same time, like, Apu's on a disadvantage there, right? I don't think anyone would say Apu's going to be able to tank both of Zoro and Drake for an extended period of time. I think that's just very unreasonable. Regardless, the most interesting part of this whole conflict with Apu is really when we go over to Queen and he's talking about crushing the second and third best fighters of the Straw Hat crew. I do think Queen needs to amend that pretty quick because Jinbei's there now. It kind of switches the hierarchy up. You got to get rid of the second, third, and fourth best fighters. But what's really interesting is, of course, that Queen is referring to Judge's son, Vinsmoke Judge. That's very interesting. I do wonder what's going on now. For me, for anyone that doesn't know, I do think the Vinsmoke are going to have their day in the manga still. Why? Because Vinsmoke Judge dropped the 66 Days of Darkness. He just randomly blurts this out towards the end of the Big Mom arc, and when you do that, that's a plot. It's a plot point. So when we have this and it's being brought up and Queen knows Vinsmoke Judge, it just makes me think, like, I can't wait for the day that the Vinsmoke come back, because I want to know what the 66 Days of Darkness is. And it makes sense to me that Queen would know about Judge, just because, like, Vinsmoke Judge, he seems like he's really well connected. It seems to me like he would maybe Queen respects his technology or something like that. Queen dabbles with well, I guess viruses. Just very interesting. Anyway, when I see Oda putting that in there, it just tells me that we are still getting more plot points on the Vinsmoke, and I can't wait. The next page is pretty interesting in that it's a one-off page. It just tells us what's going on with Chopper's side. So one thing, it's great to know that Brook isn't affected by the virus. That's pretty cool. But what's really catching my attention is Chopper. And it's not just the fact that Chopper is, well, turning into an ice zombie. That's not the part that's interesting. It's specifically what he says about it. The virus rapidly spreads because the body freezes. Is that even possible from within the body? And then he's like, could the virus possibly be? And now that he has it, honestly, I think him having it is a great way to at least open the possibility that maybe Chopper is going to be able to self-diagnose the virus well enough that he can make an antibody right there. I think it would be cool to see him do it. Already we're in a situation where Chopper is going to have to make an antibody within the hour. So him getting it might just expedite that whole process. Now, one thing that I'm thinking, when we're looking at this virus, Chopper is questioning whether that's possible from within the body, and Brook doesn't seem to be affected. I'm looking at Brook here though, and in this panel, it looks like Brook has some ice coming on his sleeve, right? Right now, I think, if I was to make a guess, it feels to me like this virus is something that happens at the surface level and it spreads over an organic surface. And then, since it's spreading over an organic surface, this is why the virus can control people's bodies. This is why people can't control their body. Because if you imagine like a casing, the casing itself is manipulating the body underneath it. That's what I would say. It's like it's hijacking the body from outside. It's like an armor that's moving on its own, and you, as the armor wearer, are cursed to watch from inside. Mind you, there's probably also those. There's also that neurological component there. But that seems to make sense to me. And it reminds me of the situation with Caesar. Remember Caesar's gas? It made it so that people were still okay beneath the layer of, I don't even know what to call it, the casing. So I feel like that could be it could be a similar mechanism. Like this is a casing that's forming over the people. And then inside of the casing, there's still the normal person or something similar to that. So I'm very interested. I'm very interested to see what Oda wants to do there. Anyway, at that point, we go towards the last little bit of the chapter where it's Usopp doing his best against 2 captain level people. Now, pretty rough to see this overall. It's pretty unfortunate that Usopp's plants can't really do much against these people, but they're dinosaurs. It's pretty much, it's pretty much flora versus fauna here. And some animals are plant eaters, some animals don't care. I think if we want to get rid of these guys, you probably have to use like some really crazy plant that could maybe, I don't know, either gas them or maybe, actually, yeah, a gassing one. Maybe if there's any plant that could gas them, that'll probably work. But otherwise, you're not going to be able to beat a Zoan just like that. Anyway, at that point, we go into Nami's sequence, which of course, it was cool. The visual of Ulti grabbing Nami, I think that's a really cool visual. It's really scary. And ultimately, I like the emotion of, even though Nami's facing down certain death, that you have her still saying that Luffy's going to be the best, pretty much. I love that. I think that was a top 10 Straw Hat moment there. Now, at the end, we have Tama coming in here. Now, I personally don't like the idea of getting a child involved, so I do hope that Tama got here by either taking advantage of the people that she had taken control of from Kaido's side and taking a boat over there, or I hope that look, all I know is I hope that no one brought her here in goodwill, right? I hope no one from this current side brought her here. I hope she did this on her own. I don't feel safe having a kid around. But Tama is also such a strategic resource that if she gives that stuff to the Smile users, she can pretty much turn all the Smile users, which really concerning, but I'm all for it. Tama could realistically cause a turn in the battlefield here if they utilize her well enough, but we'll have to see. Right now, Tama comes in as the savior, and she comes in with her dog. I'm happy. If we end up getting a fight where it's Nami, Usopp, and Tama versus those two people, Page 6 and Ulti, I think I'll be really happy. I think that'll be awesome. Anyway, guys, let me know what you thought down below. Until next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day.